Now I'm going to take you through an online click-by-click demonstration of how to register for the exam, how to add your account or at least approve your account, and then how to start the exam. As mentioned, the exam is completely online, and even though the lectures have been free, there is an exam fee that applies for everyone who wishes to take part in the Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring exam. It is $30 for anyone outside of South Africa, payable by PayPal. On all the emails that I've been sending you, you will see the link to click on and simply add the amount of $30 to the amount required to pay on PayPal. If you do not have a PayPal account, you need to sign up for a PayPal account. It's very straightforward. It takes about 5 minutes. You need a credit card or a debit card with a chip. Enter all your details and you will have a PayPal account up and running in no time. If you do not have and you are unable to create a PayPal account, I would suggest you ask a friend or a family member or a colleague to pay on your behalf using their PayPal account. For South Africans, we have a standard bank account, which you need to send an electronic funds transfer amount of 300 rands. And those proofs of payments all need to be sent to training@wpcua.co.za. Whether you're paying via PayPal, whether you're paying via EFT, you need to send your proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. And please don't make it an automated proof of payment from the bank to that email address. I need the email address that needs to be registered for the exam to send the proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. So for example, if Abdullah is registering for the exam, he's going to make a payment on his online banking account, and the proof of payment is going to be sent to his email address. And then from his email address, he's going to forward the proof of payment to training@wpcua.co.za. If I get a proof of payment from the bank saying that John Smith has paid, I do not know John Smith's email address, and I would not know which email address to send John Smith's exam link email on Monday morning. So please do send your proof of payments from your email address. You have up until Sunday, the 20th of October to send the proof of payments at 6 p.m. South African time. Once Sunday night cutoff reaches, I will have a list of email addresses that I will then generate on Monday morning, the exam link email. What I will do, starting from tonight, every night at 9 p.m. South African time, I will send an email to all of you to acknowledge everyone who has paid for the exam. So I will list email addresses and say these are the email addresses currently which will be receiving exam link emails on Monday morning. Just to make sure that everybody who has paid, I have received the proof of payment and I have added to the paid list so that they are receiving the exam link email next week, Monday. So thank you to all of those that have already paid. You will be on the list tonight. Those of you who haven't yet, the email that I sent this afternoon for the reminder of today's lecture, there are payment details on that email and every other email that I've been sending throughout the course. So Monday morning, 8 a.m. South African time, you will, all of you who have paid for the exam, receive an exam link email, and you will be able to see what that looks like shortly when I get into the process of how to register and start writing the exam. The exam window period is for 10 days. So from 8 a.m. on Monday, the 21st of October to 7:59 a.m. on Thursday, the 31st of October. You will have up to 5 attempts in those 10 days to achieve 80% for the exam, which is the pass mark. And please note that if you pass on your first attempt or your second attempt or your third attempt or your fourth attempt, you will not get any further attempts to try and improve your mark. Once you've passed, a certificate will be generated and will be automatically emailed by Umpires Universe, the website that the exam is based on. They will send your certificates to training@wpcua.co.za. And I will, as soon as I can, forward that certificate to you. When I forward your certificate to you, I will ask you where in the cricketing world you are based, because at the end of the window period, I will be sending out an email to all the passers to help them register with the Umpires Association closest to them in the world. So if you are in Karachi in Pakistan, we will get you the contact of the Umpires Association based in Karachi in Pakistan, and you will be able to forward your certificate from Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring certification to that Umpires Association closest to you and ask them kindly to accept you as a member of their association for you to start umpiring in that association. So please, when you receive your certificate from me, if you are interested in joining an Umpires Association, let me know which city, which province, and which country you are in. Another word for province is state in different countries. The exam is all true or false or multiple choice questions. There are 69 of them. Be aware that you need 56 correct answers to achieve the pass mark of 80%. And once you submit your answers at the end of the exam, your result will be displayed immediately on screen, so you will know there and then if you have passed or not. If you have got less than 80%, and I have to let you know that 55 out of 69 is 77.8%, I think, 79.8%. It is not, unfortunately, rounded up. That will require you to attempt the exam again. What we often find is that people are very flustered and their brain is frazzled after attempting the exam. It is not a good idea to attempt the same exam again straight after having failed it on the previous attempt. Rather take a break a few hours later, or maybe the next day, go through the slides that Abdullah has presented, which are the slides that are examined in Cricket South Africa's Level 1 exam, and I will be sending out those slides to you tomorrow morning with the link to the recording of today's lecture. Take your time. You've got 5 attempts. You've got 10 days. You can attempt the exam in the comfort of your home, school, office, anywhere with a decent internet connection. Make sure it's a good internet connection. Otherwise, the speed at which the questions are loaded will be slow if it is a poor internet connection. Those of you interested in partaking in Level 2 will also be online, and it will start in May 2025. All the Level 1 passes will automatically be emailed the course material and logistics email a week before the first lecture. So you do not need to contact me and ask me when is Level 2 happening. Please, can you make sure that I'm alerted before the first lecture? You will be on our mailing list for Level 2 as soon as you pass Level 1. So that is the process to be followed from now until the 31st of October. But what and how do you register for the exam once you've paid? I am going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to share the website, which will have a click-by-click demonstration of how to register, confirm your account, and then start the exam. So let us assume that this is your email inbox on Monday, the 21st of October at 8 a.m. South African time. Because you paid your exam fee before the cutoff date of Sunday, the 20th of October at 6 p.m. South African time, you will receive an email, not from me. I will generate it, but it will come from Umpires Universe Academy. Okay, so in this inbox, you see there are 2 emails from Umpires Universe Academy, because earlier, while Abdullah was busy presenting, I enrolled myself for Level 1 exam, and this is what the email is going to look like on Monday morning. It says, welcome to the Level 1 Umpire Examination online course. Please find the details you require to start the test. And quite importantly, you will all be tempted to click on the big red button that says get started. But before you can start the exam, you need to register for the exam, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to register myself for the Level 1 exam, because we are actually going to go into this exam. And obviously, I can't allow you to see the questions in the Level 1 exam. So I am going to register myself for the Introduction to Umpiring exam. The process to register is exactly the same as registering for the Level 1 umpire exam. Obviously, when we start the exam, you'll see that the questions are different to what you will receive on Monday morning with the Level 1 umpire exam. So even the email looks exactly the same. It says you have been enrolled. And now the first step is to register. Don't go down and click on get started. You need to click on register. So this is what you'll do on Monday morning when you have got the exam link email from Umpires Universe saying that you've been enrolled in the level 1 umpiring exam. You need to register your account first. So I've been enrolled using the email address thomasmokorosi@mail.com. I needed to create a new email address because the Umpires Universe system does not send exam link emails to the same email address more than once. So obviously, over the years, having demonstrated this login and registering process, I have used all of my email addresses. So I need to create a new one each time. So you do not need to create a new email address because I assume none of you have done Cricket South Africa's level 1 umpiring exam before. So your email address will receive the online exam link email, but you still need to register. So I've registered. I've been enrolled using tom.mokorosi@mail.com, and I need to create a password. And I don't want to use the pre-populated strong password. I want to create my own password, if it will allow me to do so. Choose my own password. And you need to be very careful to type it in once and type it in again exactly the same. It does need special characters and numbers as well. I'm just going to count the number of characters that I've put in. 10 characters in the top, and the confirmation also 10 characters. I just do that because my keyboard sometimes types in double letters or misses letters when I use them. So now I click on sign up, and I'm going to ask it to save my password. And quite weirdly, it gives you a message in red, but it's a good news message. It says the user has been created. Please check your email. So I go back to my email address. I go back to my inbox, and I've got a new email from Umpires Universe Academy, and it's asking me to confirm my email address. It says, thank you for signing up. Please confirm your account by clicking the below button. So I click on confirm account, and it takes me back to Umpires Universe, and it tells me that my account has been verified. Now I'm no longer in the registration screen. I'm now in the login screen for Umpires Universe. So I'm going to type in my username, tom.mokorosi@mail.com, and I'm going to type in the password that I've just recently created. And hopefully I've typed it in correctly. And yes, it lets me in. And now the first screen that you see are the courses that you have been enrolled for, or the exams that you have been enrolled for. As mentioned, I enrolled myself for both the level 1 umpire exam and also the introduction to umpiring exam. So you will all be only registered or enrolled for the level 1 umpire exam. So you will see this green graphic. You will not see this blue graphic. The reason, remember, that I've enrolled for both today is to show you what the level 1 exam looks like when you have enrolled and registered for it, but we are going to attempt the introduction to umpiring exam. So click on view course, and before we go into the exam, we need to put all our details in. So date of birth, quite importantly, to scroll through the years, just hover over the year, and then you can use the up and down buttons, because if you try and just scroll through the months, it will take you a very long time, especially if you are as old as I am. So there's my date of birth, there's my race, there's my gender, there's my city, Cape Town, and you please, wherever you are in the world, put your current location. The provinces, if you are not in South Africa, then you need to select Western Cape. If you are in South Africa, you can select the province that you stay in. But for those of you in India and Pakistan, in the US, Canada, wherever you are in the world, if you're not in South Africa, just select Western Cape. Even though you've put in your city of Karachi or Mumbai or Amsterdam or New York, use the province Western Cape. So now we save changes. Don't worry too much if you get that error message. Your changes will be saved. I'm going to go back now, and I'm going to go back to the My Courses screen. And you will notice that because I have now filled in all my details, if I click on View Course again for Introduction to Umpiring, it's now going to take me to a new screen. You can click on play to watch some frequently asked questions and the answers to them, but we don't need to do that. We go straight to Take Test. Before we take the test, we need to agree to the terms of use. And then the most important part of this registration and logging on process is we need to select our provincial association. Now, this is important in that for me to receive your certificate, you need to select and scroll down all the way to the bottom, Western Province. Okay, these are all the 15 umpiring associations in South Africa. If you select Boland, your level 1 umpiring certificate will not be emailed to me. It will be emailed to Keegan Williams, who is the head of training for Boland Cricket Umpires Association. If you select Gauteng, your certificate will not be emailed to me. It will be emailed to Roger Byrne, who is the head of training for Gauteng Cricket Umpires Association. So wherever you are in the world and wherever you are in the country, vitally important for you to select Western Province as your provincial association. Yes, if you've passed the exam and I forward you your certificate, you can then apply to join any other umpires association in South Africa. But for me to be able to get your certificate, you need to all select Western Province. The last step before starting the exam is select your provincial association, Western Province. Now, before I go on to that, I'm going to go back into the chat box or into the meeting settings, and I'm going to allow for all of you to join in our mock exam question and answer session. So currently microphones and cameras are deactivated. I'm now activating them. And Abdullah, I would like you to help us to answer the questions. So the Introduction to Umpiring course, which we are taking the exam of, is 30 minutes long, and it's 35 questions. All of them are true or false. So this will give you all an indication of what to expect in the level 1 exam. And it's also just a way for you to see how to navigate through the actual exam itself. The questions won't be the same, obviously, but the wording is quite key for you, especially with the true or false questions, to read the statements carefully. And remember what Abdullah said, if the entire statement is not 100% correct or 100% true, then mark it false. And keep that in mind when answering all of your questions. And if we don't get through all 35 questions, we will see what happens when we run out of time in an exam. Remember that the online Cricket South Africa Level 1 umpiring exam is 90 minutes, but this exam is only 35 minutes. So if we don't get through, this exam is only 30 minutes. If we don't get through all 35 questions in 30 minutes, then we will only submit the answers that we have attempted, and then we will get our mark. So Abdullah, I'm going to ask you to facilitate in the meeting room. Hands up from candidates who want to answer the questions. I'm clicking on Start Test, and there is currently a bug in the system that says we've already answered 34 questions and there's only one outstanding. That is not correct because we are only going to answer our first question now. So apologies for that. I believe the same bug exists for the level 1 exam. We're going to try and get it fixed before the 21st of October, but bear with us tonight while it's not working as it should. However, you will see different questions every time I click on submit. The timer on the top right tells you how much time you have left. So let's get going. Abdullah, umpires are the sole judges of fair and unfair play. Is that true or is that false? Do we have any hands in the meeting room that would like to help us answer this question, please?
Yes, Tom. First, quickest on the draw. Asif Hassan, can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please?
Tom, it's true.
That is true, Asif. Umpires are the sole judges of fair and unfair play. It is in law number 2. We submit the answer, and you will see that it does take some amount of time to turn over to the next question, but it didn't take too long. It all depends on the speed of your internet connection and also your computer. Thanks, Asif. We're going to take the next question from the next candidate. Captains are responsible for their team's conduct. True or false? Abdullah?
Quickest on the draw, Tom. Sardar Habib. Can you unmute your microphone and give us the answer, please?
That's true.
That is true, Sata. Well done, thank you. Captains are responsible for their team's conduct. Submit. And even though the time seemed to restart for the beginning of the second question, you can see now that from the second question onwards, the time keeps going down. Next statement. It is not against the spirit of the game to dispute umpires' decisions. And whenever there's a negative statement, you need to be very careful with true or false questions. Abdullah, do we have a new hand to help us?
Yes, we have a new hand, Tom. Javad Darial, can you unmute your microphone, please, and give us the answer?
I'm not hearing anything, Abdullah.
Yeah, he is unmuted, but I think there's probably a problem with his microphone.
Yep.
I can hear something now in the background, Tom.
Same.
Yes, I'm.
Go ahead, Jabit. It is not against the spirit of the game to dispute an umpire's decision. True or false?
Okay, I think he's got a problem with his mic, Tom. I'm going to go next in line, and again, I'm going to give preference to those hands that hasn't answered yet. So, Ududu, your hand was next up. Can you unmute your microphone, please, Ududu?
Okay, the answer is false.
That's correct, Ududu. It is against the spirit of the game to dispute an umpire's decision. Thank you. Submit and on to the next question. We will open the floor up for more questions and answers after we've gone through the mock exam. Next statement, teams are allowed to distract opponents verbally. True or false? Any new hands, Abdullah?
Yes, Tom. Paras Verma, can you unmute your microphone, please?
Yes, good afternoon, Tom and Abdullah. So teams are actually not allowed to distract opponents either by word or action. So it's under Law 41 and Law 41.4 and 41.5 come into play here.
Well done, Paras. Very good. Remember that Law 41 and Law 42 are not examined in Cricket South Africa's Level 1 exam, but there is a question on unfair play here, and you've nailed it. That is why we haven't presented Law 41 and Law 42, but it is in the presentation that I've sent as course material to everyone. Thanks.
So in case I'm planning to write Level 3, so I'll have to prep all the 42 laws anyways, right?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Right, next statement. A team can field with 12 players. Abdullah, any new hands to help us through this one?
There's lots of hands, Tom. So I'm going through the list just to see any new hands. Jan Keller, can you unmute your microphone, please? Are you able to hear, Jan Keller?
No, I'm hearing a very scrambled noise in the background there.
Yeah. Next hand was Lalit. Lalit, can you unmute your microphone, please? Okay, next hand, Tom, AVT.
Hello, you can hear me?
Yes, Abiwe, go ahead, sir. How are you?
I'm good. No, you can't field with 12 players, but you can bet with 12 players. For example, warm-up match for ICC T20 or 50 overs. Yeah, the correct statement is false.
Thanks, Abiwe. Keep up the good work in the border region. I'm just going to go into the meeting room to mute everybody, and then we can continue with the rest of the questions. Right. Next. That didn't seem to help. Let me try again. All attendees. Yeah, there we go. Okay, next statement. Umpires before the toss don't need to determine the times of play. Abdullah, true or false? Next, new hand, please.
Frederick, you're quickest on the draw. Can you unmute the microphone and give us the answer, please?
That's going to be false.
That is false, Frederick. Umpires do need to determine the times of play before a new match. Thank you very much. Let us submit and go on to the next statement. The bowlers and umpire to stand anywhere that he or she feels comfortable. Abdullah, True or false? Is there any restriction on where the bowlers and umpire stands?
Let's let Vitesse give us the answer. Vitesse?
Hi, good evening. The answer is false.
I tend to agree with you, Vitesh. There is a limitation there. The law states that, yes, they can stand where they feel comfortable, but they need to be they need to not be in a position that will distract the striker. So I will go with false because the statement is not 100% correct. We will see at the end of our submission if we've got answers right or wrong. Thanks, Vitesh. Next statement. Dead ball signal is made by extending both arms horizontally, as I'm doing now. The dead ball signal is made by extending both arms horizontally. Abdullah, true or false? Probably the easiest question tonight so far.
Bakang, can you give us the answer, please?
Evening, Tom, Abdullah, and my fellow candidates. The answer is false. You need to cross your arms.
That's correct, Bakang. The signal described in that statement is, of course, the wide ball signal. Thank you, sir. All the best for the exam. I have submitted, and we have a new question or new statement that has come up. An umpire may signal 4 byes in one motion to the scorers. So one hand up and one hand signaling 4. True or false, Abdullah? Can an umpire signal 4 byes in one motion to the scorers?
A few old hands, Tom. Let's give it a few more seconds until I see a new hand. AJ, can you unmute your microphone, please?
The answer is false.
That's correct, AJ. Signals need to be made individually and acknowledged individually by the scorers. Thank you very much. Next statement. The pitch length is the same for all ages. What does the law say about the length of the pitch for junior cricket? Abdullah, any new hands? True or false, please?
Asif Hassan, can you unmute your microphone, please?
Tom, it is false.
Asif, false is correct. The law tells us that junior cricket pitches are allowed to be shorter than 20.12 meters as prescribed by the governing body in that country. So we submit and go on to the next statement. A change of innings will be classified as an interval. So when one team is dismissed before the next team bats next, we have a change of innings. Is that change of innings classified as an interval? Abdullah, any new hands? True
yes, Makoala, can you unmute your microphone, please? Makaula? I don't see any movement from... I'll go to the next one. Tom Rees, can you unmute your microphone, please, and give us the answer?
True.
That is true, Rees. A change of innings is definitely classified as a scheduled interval. Submit that, and we're on to the next statement. The bowlers and umpire to call play after any interval or interruption. Abdullah, what do we call after an interval and an interruption for the match to resume? Is that true or false? New hands, please.
I don't see any hands, Tom. Okay, there. Eloise. Eloise, can you unmute your microphone?
Yeah, good evening. That's true.
That is true indeed. We do need to call play after any interval or interruption. So we will submit that, and we will go on to the next statement. A striker may set off for a run from in front of the popping crease. So if, for example, a striker takes guard and his or her stance is outside of the popping crease, hits the ball into the covers, and wants to take a single, they do not have to go back into their crease before taking off for the single. Is this true or is this false? Any new hands, Abdullah? Any hands?
Fine, Bossy. Fine, Bossy. You're the only hand that's raised. Can you unmute your microphone? I think Fine Bossy's got issues with his microphone. I'm going to the next line and raise Tom is Javier Dariel.
False.
Javier? So if a batter is batting outside of his crease and hits the ball, do they need to go back into their crease before starting the single? Have you ever seen that happen before? Do you want to try again?